What's up, guys? Welcome back to Range Logic. Look at this beautiful winter weather we have. What better to do on an ice cold day than sight in your rifle? So specifically, we're working on the Mark 18 and the EXPS3-2 EOTech optic. It is the EOTech with the 2 dots and then the donut of death. So I'm going to show you guys how to sight this in and how to make this optic and this reticle system work for you. So stick with me. Let's get everything set up. We'll be right back. All right, guys, so we got the Mark 18 set up in the lead sled here. We're gonna have to kind of hold it a little bit just to get the fine-tune adjustments. We're at 50 yards, that's the magic number. We're aiming for the center of the 2 dots on this EOTech reticle. So by zeroing the top, the center, it's also the top dot, at 50, then our next dot down is gonna be at 500 yards. But your 0 for your 50 is also gonna be the same at 200. So, and then anything that's less than 7 yards, you're going to use the very bottom of the donut is where you're going to aim. So by sighting in at 50, we're actually going to get 3 zeros to run off of this one reticle. So we got the paper set up down there. We're going to go ahead and get a couple shots, and then we'll go up there, kind of see where we shot. Don't forget, whenever you're zeroing in an optic, always dial it down to the dimmest setting that you can still see the reticle. You don't want any star bursting, anything else. You just want to see as a fine-tuned dot as possible. So we're going to do that now. I got it up super bright now, so we're going to dial it back just to where I can barely see it. And now it looks like a little needle point down on that target. So we're going to go top dot, also center, center mass. All right, that was kind of perfect. We're out of rounds. Let's go ahead and hop up there and see what we got. All right, so here's our target. I was aiming here, and we kind of shot left mostly. So I'm gonna actually we're gonna shift a little to the right and just a little bit down, see if we can kind of migrate that group over there. So we're gonna go ahead and run back to the table. I'll show you guys how to make those adjustments, and then we'll go ahead and get a couple more rounds downrange. All right, guys, I got you guys moved in here to the right side of the optic here. We have 2 adjustment screws. One says down with the arrow going clockwise. This other one says right with the arrow going clockwise as well. These are in relation to the direction you want the bullet to move, impact-wise. So we want our bullet to move to the right. So we're gonna go, let's just try 4 clicks. There's 4. And then we also want it to go down. So we're going to follow the arrow down. And let's go 4 and 4. 2, 3, and 4. So the EOTech dials, they don't have a click, but they definitely have a felt detent. You can feel it as you turn the screw on there, that it kind of locks in a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and give that a shot, and we'll see what it does. All right, here's after the next 4 shots. So we moved, there's a double, and then 2 of these were the new ones, and this was the other new one. So we're achieving some of our down. These 2, I believe, were new. So we're gonna go ahead and crank more over to the right, and we're gonna do 1 click down, and we're gonna go 3 to the right. Let's try and shift that over quite a bit more. All right, we got 3 right there. We're gonna go ahead and do 1 click right and do a few more shots, see what we get. All right, so now you can see we had another series and then I made some adjustments. We raised the camera and shot on a fresh target. And that fresh target, we dialed up one. I realized we were kind of coming down a little bit too low. So I backed it off. We went up one more click and then that put us on that final target that you saw there. So that's at 50 yards. It's in the cold, less than ideal conditions and what have you, but we are still at like, you know, 1.5 inch group, depending on those grid sizes. I want to say they're, excuse me, I want to say they're 3/4 of an inch or something. So I am fine with that for right now in the winter. I'll reconfirm in the summer. But the important part is turning those dials the right direction, getting some test shots. Now, you can sight your gun in and take, you know, 4 shots and do the math and measure out all your impacts and stuff. But obviously I enjoy shooting. I have the land. I don't have to go to a range and rent time. If I had to, I'd be a lot more pressed for time and probably do the math on it and, you know, figure out your MOA adjustments for your optic. But for me, I just like to put a couple rounds downrange, walk down, see where we're at, couple clicks, kind of fine tune it and put a final group in there. So now the 2 dots on the EOTech, so you have your donut to death, and then there's a center dot, and then there's a dot just below it. The dot below it is zeroed at 500 yards. So in the summer, we will go out to 500 and we will shoot this. And then at 200, we'll also confirm that center dot. So now if I'm doing any close-up work on paper targets, whether it's competition or just having fun, I'm gonna actually use the bottom of the donut of death. That's what that is there for. So it's kind of an awesome little optic. And the reason I want to do this now is because EOTech has, I don't want to say been known, but some people complain of what's called a temperature drift in your zero. So we zeroed the gun in today's temperature. It is, I don't know, 15 degrees or something. So their claim is that if whatever you zero it in at, if you go to a different climate, so from super cold to super hot or super hot to super cold, your zero will change. So this video is going to be evidence, and we're going to see what happens. In a few short weeks, I'll be going down to Texas, down to San Antonio, and we're going to be doing some shooting. So it's obviously going to be much warmer there. So we are going to reconfirm and see if we're getting the same groups and see if that is accurate, if their claim that that temperature can shift the zero is accurate. I think that's the only downside I've ever seen on an EOTech, that and battery life. I don't really care about either per se. I love EOTechs. I love the way they look. The battery life, you know, just buy more friggin' batteries. It does have an auto shut off feature, which I find awesome. And then they have a very new version that they just came out with that has a shake awake as well. So as soon as you grab that gun, that optic would turn on. But the one I have, it has an auto shutdown after 4 or 8 hours, depending on which way you turn it on. So I think that's extremely beneficial. You won't just leave your optic on and kill the battery. But you know, it's a battle optic. It's been used in the military all over the world, and it's kind of a proven system. So I wanted to get my hands on it and kind of get into that and see what it's all about. So that's why we're here. We got it zeroed in. Now it's time to go have some fun with it. So let's go. All right, we're back here at 200 yards. We're just gonna take a couple shots and see if it works. Hopefully I don't shoot my truck. There we go. That's how it's done. So we sighted it at 50. We confirmed at 200. We were still accurate to that center dot. The only thing left to do in the summer is measure out 500 yards, confirm that second dot is accurate at 500 yards. And we're good to go. We got everything done. So there goes my headphones. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick video on how to sight in a rifle optic, specifically an EOTech EXPS3-2. Hit the subscribe button, like and share this video. If you guys like the video, comment down below and let me know what your favorite rifle optic is. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I will help you out as best as I can as far as zeroing in any optics. And that's really the most important thing. If your rifle or your pistol is not zeroed, what are you doing? You know, you shouldn't even be shooting a gun. So thank you guys for sticking around, and don't forget, have a nice day.